Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I don't know why it is that I'm always drawn to these stories that I really have to watch every word I say. The stories that are right on the edge that I'm not sure if I'm going to lose my monetization. I'm always drawn. I just find them the most interesting. And this is one of those stories. Okay, let me give you the background. This is a high school. It's called Deer Creek High School in Oklahoma. And recently they've received a lot of attention. There's going to be the links right down below. I'm going to have the actual Twitter post right down below so you can watch the video of this if you choose to. Okay, Deer Creek High School, Oklahoma. They recently had a fundraiser, or they had a fundraiser week. And this was this one particular event it raised eyebrows with me. Let me describe to you the event. And I consider myself a liberal. And I get the distinct feeling that the superintendent of schools, libs of TikTok, and everybody else seem to be implying that this is like a liberal thing. And being liberal, I deny any. I don't think it's. I find it disgusting. Let me give you the background here, okay? This is in a gymnasium. The video takes place in a gymnasium. There's a row of students sitting on like a bench, and their feet are exposed. Their socks and shoes are off, and they have peanut butter on their toes. Okay, and next there's students laying on their stomachs, and they are removing the peanut butter from the feet of the other students using their mouths. I hope that I was able to say that. Okay, and so this is a fundraiser, and on the good side, this raised, or I don't know if it was just this event. This is one thing I'm not sure of. I don't know if it was just this one. I don't think it was just this one event. I think it was the whole week. Raised over $150,000, which is great for it's a coffee company called Not Your Ordinary Joe's, and it raises money for developmentally disabled people and or students, developmentally disabled people. Not Your Ordinary Joe's, $150,000. That's the good side of this. Okay, so now obviously there's been a lot. How could this possibly? It's unhygienic from my point of view. Honestly, I do not see. Personally, I don't see like anything of a sexual nature in this. That's me personally. I find it extremely unhygienic. Like I said, I consider myself tried and true liberal through and through. Tree hugging, electric car loving, Joe Biden voting, LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, all that, liberal. That's me. Okay? Now, the superintendent of schools, this link will be right down below. The superintendent of schools said, I don't have his name right here, but you'll see the post if it's down below, if you go down below. He says, we're doing away with this filth in our schools. We're getting rid of this, we're getting rid of this filth in our high schools, in our schools. And I get the feeling that, and then this post was then posted by Chaya Rychek on Libs of TikTok. You know what? It's my personal goal to be featured on Libs of TikTok, as one of the libs. I would freaking love that. Anyway, it was posted on Libs of TikTok. Like, this is I do not agree that this is like it really feels like it's being insinuated that this is like a liberal thing, a Democrat thing, a left-leaning event, by the superintendent. This is my feeling. The superintendent in schools saying that he's going to clean up the filth. It gives me the feeling that he's referring to banning books, studies involving Black Lives Matter, civil rights, like in Florida, how a lot of that stuff's been removed from books. The LGBTQ community. I get the feeling that he's using. See, this makes my point for the furries. That whole story where this thing's supposed to be going on with young people wearing fur costumes and meowing and litter boxes. This right here makes my point on how that story is complete nonsense. Why? Because kids have cameras and kids will film anything. And the fact that this was filmed and came to people's attention right away makes my point that I have never seen anything. I'm sure you haven't either, because I don't think they exist. Any videos of the furries in schools and so on and so forth. What the conservatives, you hear this every week with conservatives and Republican, the whole MAGA set, insinuating this furry thing. And this makes my point. How this got on video and came to the public eye so quickly. If there really was a furry existence, it would have been on video and we would have seen it a long time ago. This makes my point for that. But I get the feeling that it really feels like it's automatically being assumed that this is some kind of liberal school thing, some leftist thing. And I don't know, the first thing my mind goes to is conservative. It seems like it'd be more appealing to a conservative, and I'm serious about that, because of the class of, like the servile nature of this, with some people serving other people, the class, like the class, the upper class people over here, and the other people serving them. To me, if I looked at this, and you'd say, who would this appeal more to, liberals or conservatives? Honestly, I'd say it's 50-50, but I could honestly see how conservatives this would appeal to a conservative mindset too. So I take offense to this being singled out as like, so, being on the libs of TikTok, like, oh, this is like some kind of liberal thing. I'm liberal. The thing is, I don't have kids. I thought back to 40 years ago when I was in 40 freaking years ago. This is going to be my 40th high school reunion, and I found an example of something that the adults should have caught in my high school. It has nothing to do with peanut butter or feet or toes or anything like that, but it has to do with one of my best friends in high school in the yearbook, and I'm going to show you that in a second. I covered up his name, and this was one of I considered him my best friends, and it's something that slipped into the yearbook, and I got to be careful how I say this. I'm going to actually show you the picture. Here's the picture, and I don't know if you can make out his quote underneath. I got to be careful how I say this. This made it into my yearbook. Life is a hand job. Sometimes you're up on it, sometimes you're down on it. I hope I was able to say that. Yeah, he actually said that. Yeah. He actually says that in the year. I know that's backwards, but come on, you could read backwards. He actually said that in the yearbook, and it's still there 40 years later. Life is a job. Sometimes you're up on it, sometimes you're down on it. My buddy, I was proud of him. I got to admit, I was proud. I'm sure there was lots of parents that were offended. Is he a liberal to today? I'm sure he's honest. I'm guessing here, but I'm going to guess he's probably a Trump supporter. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's probably a Trump supporter. I'll just leave that right there. I'm trying to find a picture of me here. Here's me in the yearbook too. That's me right there. And I put, long you live and high you fly, smiles you'll give and tears you'll cry. All you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Pink Floyd. And I still, that rings true to me so much today. Pink Floyd quotes. Pink Floyd was one of the most quoted probably rock bands in my high school yearbook. And that made it into the yearbook. But anyway, like I said, as far as this fundraiser goes, I take offense to I don't agree with it. It seems implied that this is some kind of liberal, being on the libs of TikTok. And the way that the superintendent phrased it, cleaning up this filth in the high schools, it feels like he's referring to other things that have happened, that have been in the news. like the banning of books or teaching civil rights, teaching about the LGBTQ community and all that stuff. That's the feeling, or the furries, which don't exist. That's the feeling I get with this superintendent and his what he said about this, and definitely doesn't appeal to me. I find it extremely unhygienic. Would I have done this in high school? I thought about that. Would I have done this in high school? I can't imagine me wanting to do this or ever thinking of doing this, of being the person removing the peanut butter, unless there's one girl, this one cheerleader from high school I still remember, and I might have removed peanut butter from her feet. I might have. I think I would have done just about anything. All right, I hope this video can get monetized. This isn't a liberal thing. I think it's conservative. I think it deals with the classes, different classes, servile nature of this thing, conservative. All right, let me know what you think. I'll be back later with another video. Have a good Sunday.